Welcome to After Nebrasketball episode number 1. Glad to have you with us. I am Jack Mitchell. That is Kaleb Henry, live from Pinnacle Bank Arena. And this is what we're going to be doing this winter, late fall into winter, into spring. It's hanging out with you after Nebraska basketball games. Jacob Bigelow will be joining us here in just a little bit. If you're joining us on the I-80 Club or Husker Max, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Please like and subscribe right away so you can make sure and be with us every single week. Nebraska 87, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, the most mouthful of a name of a freaking school I have ever heard in my life.
Grande.
The difficulty the play-by-play announcers had in referring to Nebraska's opponent tonight was occasionally on par with Nebraska's inability to stop the three-point shot tonight. That is the longest mouth. How have they not changed the name of that school to something easier to say? It's unbelievable. It's
UTRGV. Just UTRGV.
Yeah, try
or
that fast
the
when you're doing
Vaqueros.
play-by-play. Try that fast when you're doing play-by-play. Here we go. Glad to have you with us for After Nebrasketball. I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, Nebraska won this game. We will not think of this game by the time December rolls around, by the time Creighton and Michigan State and Indiana are flying around, we will forget this game forever, probably. But this was not the
I disagree.
You think we'll be thinking about this one during the Creighton, Michigan State, Indiana games?
No, I think we'll be thinking about this game when we are getting to where does Nebraska get on the seed line, because that team is going to win some games in the Southland. They are going to win some. They're going to be dangerous.
Don't do this.
They're going to shoot themselves into some games. That team.
Caleb's already got him. Caleb's already got him as a 12-5 winner in March. He's already got him. Put him into the Sweet 16.
No, maybe a 15-2.
Yeah, okay. You think? I don't know. You really think so? Are you being serious?
They're going to shoot. Yeah, they are going to shoot themselves into some games because everyone on that team has a green light, and that is going to be dangerous for some team. Like, I know Nebraska, and that was one of my issues coming into this game because of past history, because of the way the exhibition went, was Nebraska's ability to defend the 3-point line. And the fact that they were going to be volume shooters from deep, they take 41 threes.
13 for
they
41.
Could have taken, they could have taken 50. So it ends up being a 20-point win for Nebraska. Let's say they do take 50 and they hit 20 of them. You know, like, they're going to shoot their way into some games that maybe they shouldn't have any business being in with the new coach.
There were. Okay, but too many of them were wide open. Too many of them were open. The defense is among,
or someone was close and they didn't defend it well.
Yes, the defense is among my concerns that we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes,
the perimeter defense, the defense. Listen, part of it, if you're shooting, so 13 for 41. Okay, right, like high volume, 39% field goals overall for UTRGV. So, not wildly good there, but yes, to me right away, my first concern, there's certainly plenty to talk about, but my first concern is defense on this team. And that, that's where it's going to start, and especially perimeter defense.
Here's where the perimeter defense, The perimeter defense did look better. There was a stretch in the first half where things kind of got settled down because UTRGV was knocking down shots. They were keeping it close. I mean, they kept it close all the way up until 5 minutes left in the game. But Nebraska went small ball. You had Ulis at the point all the way through Bear K at the 5. Like there were some creative things that Hoiberg did with the lineup to stop the bleeding at that time, and Nebraska just stayed in the game. Well, didn't really stay in the game, but stayed with the lead the rest of the way from there on out. They didn't trail after that. But that was an adjustment that had to be made. Is that something that we see once we get into the Big Ten and we know teams are going to be able to heat up? because inevitably there are going to be 3 or 4 teams that shoot their season best for threes against Nebraska. That happens every single year. Is it the small ball lineup? I don't know, but I know Nebraska was able to hold the tide off a little bit when they went there. That's definitely not their best lineup. I really liked having Andrew Morgan out there. I like Berke being more of a forward than being the 5. Like, there are different things that I like with this team, but them going to the small just for that instance, it helped. It's not a complete fix for the 3-point defense.
One of the things the Hoiberg teams have been able to do is get that scramble going on 3-point defense, though. You did not see that tonight, right?
There wasn't the scramble.
With the efficiency. Yeah, it wasn't there. It wasn't there like you've seen.
No, and some of that, I don't know. Is it like you're a lot longer right now? So are you?
Yeah.
Are some of the guys maybe just expecting that they're going to be able to defend it better? They're going to get more tips on the ball. Whereas when you had, I know the defense wasn't great, but when you had Casey out there, you had some shorter guys out there where it became scramble ball. You had more minutes from Sam Hoiberg type of thing, and it just became a sprint around the 3-point line, running guys off of the line, and then ultimately forcing them into a late clock shot, and it worked out for you, or getting a turnover. That just really wasn't there tonight.
Yeah. 13 for 41 is good for 32%. So it's a good, it's the exact same percentage.
Bad.
It's the exact same percentage Nebraska shot, which was 6 for 19. It's just with 3,000 times more 3-pointers than they shot. Now, can I say this? How did UTRGV, how did that team not have anyone foul out of that game? They must have had 18 players with 4 fouls in that game. That was was unbelievable.
They had 4 players with 4 fouls, 2 others with 3. They had 27 fouls in the game.
It was unwatchable. It was Kaleb, between the difficulty guarding the 3 and the constant the bazillion fouls from UTRVGV between that and that, and then with 5 minutes left in the second half, it being a 5-point game. This is not the elixir I was looking for after Saturday. Okay. And again, I think I will forget it. I think it will be long gone. But you know what I needed? A beatdown. I needed alley-oop. I needed Harlem Globetrotters freaking crap. I need Rolly Worster, behind the closed eyes passes behind the neck. That's what I needed.
You're not gonna get that. But I will tell you what you did get after Saturday, because you're referencing the way the football game went. That team could not close at the end. They got into striking distance, couldn't close. This team tonight, yes, it's against UT Alphabet, went 18-2 run to close out the game. That is what you wanted to see. And that is what you got from this team tonight, which is very different than the way everything felt Saturday.
Let's welcome the third member of our team, Jacob Bigelow. Bigelow, welcome to After Nebrasketball episode 1. I've already kind of lost my mind in the first few minutes, believe it or not.
I was afraid of this being the case. I've
already lost my mind. 5 minutes left. It's a 5-point game. I can't watch any more fouls I can't say the other team's name because it's got too many letters. Bigelow, tell me your thoughts on tonight's game.
I think my biggest takeaway was that we heard a lot from Fred Hoiberg in the lead up to this season about the importance of not the 5 to start the game, but the 5 to end it. And the way that we saw this team close and finish, while Bryce Williams is dealing with cramps, and your 5 on the floor is Raleigh Worster, Connor Essegian, Juwan Gary, Berke, and Andrew Morgan, and that they finished. I mean, they closed the door. I mean, it doesn't feel like a 20-point win. After sitting here and watching the entirety of this game, it sure as hell doesn't feel that way.
Covered. If they had tried, they could have covered in the last minute.
Yeah, the back door was open there for
some may have been interested in that. Yes,
significant to some folks, significant to some when they were making that run. But mean, they finished, and no one's gonna, if no one's gonna be looking at the first half box score in March or February when you're talking team sheets or whatever.
I agree.
A 20-point win's a 20-point win. You're on to the next one. Bill Belichick voice. They're on to Bethune-Cookman.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said at the beginning with Caleb. I'm not going to ever be remembering this one. Now, you don't have to go to February or March. I'm not going to remember this by Thanksgiving. I plan to eliminate. I plan to severance this thing from my mind after today. After this whole thing is completely over. Let's talk about Bryce Williams.
Jack, here. No,
yeah, go ahead.
I want to get to Bryce. We'll get to Bryce, obviously, for what he did, but there were a lot of tweets that happened halfway through the first half. 8 turnovers in the first 9 minutes is what it was, just under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then you had 5 over the last 30, including one at the end of the first half where you could have taken 2 other shots before you even got into that situation. You just didn't want to leave any time and then turned it over. And then there was a bad call with Berkay and a travel. Like there were some tough luck turnovers the rest of the way, but to go 5 turnovers in the 30 minutes after, I was concerned about the ability to hang on to the ball, like the ball security. And then I felt really good the last 30 minutes.
Bigelow, what do you think? You agree with that? I mean, the turnovers were high in the first half, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, it looked kind of similar to the exhibition game for the first half, just choppy, sloppy, slow. I mean, then Bryce Williams kind of said as much, talking in the post game. He said, we're still a new group. We're still getting used to one another.
That's what they looked like. And they look like a team who hasn't played together before. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what they looked like, right? Yep. Yes.
Uh-huh. And it's as corny and cliche of coach speak as it can be. But I mean, when we officially crossed the bridge of Fred Hoiberg saying these guys are ready to play someone that isn't each other, that was when you knew that, they want to see what it looks like against a real opponent. And we got a closed door, not so secret scrimmage against Utah and an exhibition game against the D2. But this was for real tonight. And I mean, there was a lot to like, a lot that, made me raise an eyebrow. All 3 of my biggest questions about this team definitely appeared to still be significant throughout the majority of the game. So, but it's game 1 for a reason. They're 1-0, and we will not hopefully be thinking about this game much longer down the line.
Now, couple of quotes. By the way, those of you who are watching us,
okay, YouTube, Jack, lose your mind about Bryce Williams.
Well, let me say one real quick thing. It's
time for you to lose your mind about Bryce Williams. Go.
We got a good crowd on the YouTube. Want to say hi. If we read chats, it's going to be from our Discord. That's I-80 Club members. Go to patreon.com/I-80 Club, and we'll interact with you during these shows throughout the entire year. Bryce Williams is the master of scoring. Whatever. What was it? 20. I'm looking at the numbers now. What was it?
27.
I mean, Bigelow, that was kind of usually Bryce will put 25 down fairly quietly or 20 down pretty quietly. There were a ton of free throws, of course, today, but there's a world where Bryce Williams is an alpha for this team. He is I don't know if he was last year. You saw glimpses of it occasionally. You didn't see it consistently. I thought you saw it, Bigelow, you saw more of a vision of that tonight than you really ever did last year. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of picked up where he left off at the end of last season. I mean, he finished with 3 straight 20-point games against Indiana, Illinois, and A&M to end the year in postseason play, and he kind of picked up right where he left off. I mean, I've been conducting the train all off season that Bryce Williams is going to be an all league guy. I mean, he's going to be an all Big Ten guy by the end of the year, and if he's not, something has gone terribly wrong. I will gladly conduct this train. I've talked with people who cover other Big Ten teams, and Bryce Williams has kind of been like an if you know guy. If you watch Bryce Williams, you can see he's a dude, and he's shown flashes of James Palmer Jr.-esque, especially tonight, going downhill, getting to the rim, and I was a part of the teams with Palmer, and I mean they remind me of each other. They remind me of each other really and truly. Now, Bryce, I kind of half-jokingly called him the Terminator last year because he doesn't really show much emotion, but he'll gladly kill you. He'll gladly, find a way to kill you. But I think, I expect him to be their dude all year. I think he's going to be their guy regardless. And, it's kind of my biggest question is who's going to be the second leading scorer, because I think we know Bryce Williams is going to be the straw that stirs the drink all year for this team.
Caleb, you really haven't had that, a number one alpha scorer pretty much every game. like Bryce could be this year. Yes.
No, like, and not just what he could be, what he has to be for this team to be successful. Not that other guys can't lead the team in scoring, not that other guys can't score in double figures on any night. Bryce Williams has to be the guy for this team to be successful. There are a ton of really good pieces. And like we talked about on Nebrasketball Brunch Show, there's a lot of good shooting. There's a lot of good size. This team is overall better than they were last year. But last year's team was built in such a way that you were going to have a different guy potentially lead you each night. You wanted it to be Casey because then you knew the crowd was going to be in it, or it was Rink against Ohio State, like those types of things. Bryce has to be the guy this year. And what I really liked out of him tonight is he went 19 minutes between making shots, 19 minutes between made field goals. And it didn't matter because he was making all of those free throws. He was finding a way to still impact the game. He was grabbing rebounds. Like, for him to go and do that says he's going to do it any way he needs to. He needs to be that guy over the course of this year. Him doing that part and then ultimately the team taking it over while he was out at the end shows me, yes, it was against UT Alphabet, but they had to go get it done. And Bryce has shown, at least through one game, he can be the guy.
By the way, 1 for 6 from 3 for Bryce, 10 for 11 at the free throw line, 8 for 18 overall. Field goals, did get 5 rebounds, no assists. I still wonder. I mean, I felt last year like there were times, listen, I'm going to miss Keisei Tominaga forever. I will have his name tattooed on my heart for life. I think there were times when Bryce wanted the ball from Keisei and he didn't get it last year. I'll say it. Like, I mean, I think that was definitely the case. It'll be, I don't know that there's a situation like that, guys, on the team this year for him. And maybe that's a little bit of what we saw tonight. So that'll be fascinating to see, but gets in foul trouble, gets injured, anything else like that. You start to worry though, who else do you have as scorers on the team? Now, let me tell you what else I already told you what I didn't like. I will tell you what else I liked. Everything I heard, Bigelow, Kaleb, about Andrew Morgan, looked right to me in terms of more athletic than you think, better score than you think. Bigelow, Andrew Morgan I was excited about the way that he played. I'm excited about how he's going to look in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I kind of felt like when we got close to the season, Andrew Morgan kind of wasn't getting talked about. Like, he kind of got lost in the shuffle when talking about the transfer portal guys. And he showed with good reason why I was trying to remind people, like, don't forget about this guy. You know, he comes in, he's 3 for 3 from the field. He shows some legitimate, actual, refined post moves. When was the last time Nebraska had a big breaking out post moves like that? And he's not even the guy that started. He was in the game to finish. But I think Andrew Morgan he's a difference maker. And I know it's game one, and that may sound like a ridiculous overreaction, but I think just the difference between the flow and just what it looked like aesthetically with him on the court compared to even the small ball lineup with Berke at the 5, which I'm still intrigued by, but just the difference personnel wise and the way it looked, it was night and day different with him on the court compared to either of the other 2 big men. Yeah.
And we didn't even we saw Mia at the beginning, and we didn't see much of him in the rest of the game, right? Which probably had to do with the way that obviously that UT W239 asterisk was playing, a little bit of that too, but you didn't see, I do wonder. I am fascinated with Berke. I didn't see much tonight in terms of what he can do. I felt like I still have, in the exhibition game, I still didn't see either. Like, he seems dynamic. He seems like there's a lot there. I ain't seen it yet. Looking forward to seeing it at some point.
Yeah, and I think the people in the program are looking forward to seeing it too. They've stayed ultra complimentary of him and his potential and his basketball IQ. I mean, I think he was probably the guy that wasn't in attendance at media day that we heard the most about from Fred, from Bryce Williams, from Juwan Gary, was just what he's capable of as a distributor, his basketball IQ. Like, it's all been waxed poetic about, but I just we've seen like little glimpses, but when it finally flashes, I have a feeling it'll flash pretty hard.
6.6 rebounds, Kaleb. Dude's bigger than I thought he was. He's thicker than I thought he was.
Jack,
let's be honest.
Yeah. one of the things that you and I were talking about on Friday was who is going to potentially be that emotional person the crowd latches onto when they touch the ball. And in the same way, Keisei Tominaga, like if he looked at the ball the right way, the crowd got a little bit antsy, got a little crazy. There are two guys that I saw the crowd start to get a little bit, I'm going to get out of my seat for. One of them was Connor Acee. The other one was Gavin Griffiths. He didn't make any of his threes, but when he caught the ball in space, the crowd started to lean forward a little bit. The PBA crowd likes the rec specs. That is one that I think there's going to be an emotional attachment to in the building.
Really?
That's what it is. Say it for what it is. He's a goofy looking dude. He's tall and skinny. He moves a little funky.
You're telling me
what's your favorite song thing, and he did the letters to Hot to Go. Like, he's for the people.
Oh no,
Gavin Griffiths is for the people, and that is they were like, what's your guilty pleasure song? And he spelled out the letters. Spelled out the letters of Hot to Go in that social media video.
Oh God, this is like this is like a Brian Conklin type situation, is what you're describing to me. Like a little. I mean. Wow. Okay. Everybody's agreeing with you on the chat. Jab says yes. High Formation says Kaleb is totally correct. Back to Bear K. I Formation said earlier they need Bear K to become the secondary distributor after Worcester. Let's talk about Worcester. Guys, I liked Worcester. I liked a lot about Worcester during the course of the game tonight. And, you know, a guy, Kaleb, you talked about his size. Kaleb, you talked about his size in Nebrasketball Brunch show. And he used that in scoring. Let's take a look at his line for the night. Worcester's line, 18 points. Good freaking crap. I had no idea. 18 points, 6 for 7, hit 1 3, 5 for 9, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Jeez, freaking crap. He made a few more assists. He would have been a triple-double territory, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really high on Riley Worcester since the minute he committed. And
4 steals.
And I mean, he's an impact. I mean, I said difference maker about Morgan, but I mean, Nebraska has not had as true of a true point guard as they have now with Riley Worcester. I mean, he's not. I mean, there were a couple instances where he was like trying to play bully ball down low, and I'm like, is he doing too much? And then he like hits the fade mid range, and I'm like, okay, like there we go. Like, I worried he may have been trying to do too much, but everything I've seen from him so far, I mean, it's a lot to like. Really high on just the difference that having a true point guard can make for the Fred Hoiberg offense. He plays smart. He wasn't making any bad reads, bad passes, questionable shot selection, but he still finished with, you know, a couple boards, couple assists, and double-figure scoring. So it's hard to not like anything you've seen from Riley Worcester so far.
18, 9, and 3, 6 for 7. He finished at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
He finished at the rim.
He missed one shot, questionable shooting, questionable shot selection.
Yeah, did you say questionable shot selection? He was 6 for 7 , Bigelow.
Yeah, okay.
Do you even remember the shot he missed?
No, but
Unless he made that freaking 3. He's like a 23% three-point shooter, and he canned that.
I feel some type of way about mid-range fadeaways, okay? I may have spent too much time around Fred Hoiberg, and it's rubbed off on me, but I feel some type of way about mid-range fadeaways from your point guard. That's the only questionable thing, okay?
DPM says the whole team except Gavin and Connor is much thicker than I remember a Nebraska team being in a long time. Agree or disagree?
Not wrong. Agree. Hard agree.
Oh, yeah. Thick with 2 C's, as the children would say. It's a thick team.
What's that mean
from
then?
top to bottom.
So what's that mean though? Does that mean that they? I mean, what were the rebound? I'm gonna look at the rebounding numbers for tonight. Total rebound
42 to 32.
42, 32, 31, 23 on the defense, 11 and 9 on the offense. At that point, is that the implication of that, or what should it mean if this is a thicker team than we've ever seen?
So one of them. Yeah, one of the implications of having a thicker team is you shouldn't get pushed around, which means rebounding. So that's number one, and that's been an issue for Fred Hoiberg teams. So you've got thicker guys, you've got taller guys. So that should help out with all of that. The other end is it's nice that you've got a 6'5", kind of a thick point guard. So you're handling the ball. You're not going to get bullied and turn it over. Like it's just nice that you have these guys that you can have someone go post up or defend the post, and they're not going to get run over. It should just overall mean a more physical team.
I hope so. The rebounding didn't look like I thought it would with all of that, especially in the first half, but we'll see. They didn't get tested inside either with somebody who I mean, that just wasn't the game that UT number sign, Arabic letter Q, WF 217 looked like. So
Nebraska played a tax document tonight.
Yes,
that's
they
what
did.
It's starting to sound like. They played a tax document, not a real university. That's what it's sounding like.
1040 easy is what they did. Yes. Guys, obviously, I mean, listen, this isn't me piling on anybody. They're going to obviously have to get more from Juwan Gary than what they did tonight regularly. He, there were games. I mean, I remember Bigelow. You remember last year he gets hurt against Rutgers, and I almost broke down because I thought he was the best player on the team at the time.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I still question, like, if you want to talk about actual questionable shot selection, Juwan Gary continuing to pull threes. I know he made the one late, but I don't want. The perfect world for this Nebraska team is not him being as reliant on perimeter play. It's that, as corny and cliche it is, it's that junkyard dog mentality, fighting inside, fighting for rebounds.
You're right.
Like, that's the ideal role for Juwan Gary. And when I
didn't see enough of that tonight.
I absolutely agree. And when you've got one bona fide dude in Bryce Williams, the rest of the guys on the roster have to be stars in their role. Maybe they're not stars in the big picture, but I mean, Juwan, obviously he's the longest tenured Husker, not named Sam Hoiberg. He's been a part of the program longer than anyone. He was a part of the Greasel team. He was a part of the team last year. So he knows about the standard that Fred has and what he wants, the product on the court to look like. So, I mean, he's going to have a role, but he's just got to be a star in his role that we've seen him thrive in the most the previous two seasons of Nebraska basketball.
It just comes back to what I said earlier. It looks like a team that got picked off the playground. Right, for the most part, right? We're taking him. We're taking the goggles guy. We're taking the Turkish guy. We're getting this group together. We're gonna play that. It's really what it looked like to me a whole lot tonight, and I'm optimistic that's going to change. You guys' optimism has driven me to a better place tonight, so that's good as well. Let's talk about what's next. You've got. Well, actually, Bigelow, let me ask you just real quickly too. I know you had a chance to listen to Fred. You talked a little bit about what he said. I don't know if you got to hear the players. Just any other thoughts from what you heard after the game?
Yeah, I mean, they made it seem not made it seem. They really hit home on the fact that they wanted to play inside. They finished with 40 points in the paint. Guys trying to get downhill, go to the rim, like Bryce Williams was getting fouled. Bryce Williams made the point. It's like they started the game with a foul. When they got in the bonus and then they're in the double bonus, we knew we needed to go downhill, try to draw fouls, and they wound up with 35. Yeah,
25 for 35
attempts. Yeah,
still missed too many. 25 for 35.
Yep, and Fred Hoiberg echoed as much. He said, obviously you want to convert more at the line instead of missing 10. He did confirm that Bryce Williams was just cramping. It wasn't anything serious. He said he had cramps he said he had cramps in multiple parts of his legs. So there was kind of a oh shit moment in the crowd, when he went down for a second, no, not now. But he got up and he was just cramping.
I said that. I freaked out. Bigelow, I freaked the hell out. That didn't look like a cramp to me. That looked like a ACL and Achilles at the same time. So I was freaking out.
Yep, but he popped in. He popped in just a couple seconds after Sejan and Raleigh got up there, and he said he felt fine, and it was just cramps. So they put an emphasis on playing inside, playing through the post, and Fred called it a team effort. He said he liked what he saw from just about everybody.
You're a former team manager. What do we got to do to get him hydrated better in the next week?
Sounds like an indictment on the Gatorade that's being made by the managers. You gotta. There's a right way.
Is this too much powder?
It might have been. I mean, you got to find the right ratio, right? Like, you got to find the right ratio.
Is he getting too much Arctic Blue Jazz or whatever it's called?
Yeah, Glacier Freeze, something like
Arctic
that.
Arctic Blue Jazz is not a thing. I just made that up.
Arctic Blue Jazz sounds like something people drive to Colorado to buy.
I blame Pat.
That's what Arctic Blue Jazz sounds like.
Get it together, Pat.
Matt on the Discord chat says not enough powder and nobody will drink it though. That's a good point. Maybe there was not enough powder and it was too watery. And Bryce is like, I like a little taste in my Gatorade.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, absolutely. I got a very stern talking to from James Palmer my freshman year about how much powder needed to be in the Gatorade. And he was like, listen up, Biggs. This is how much powder needs to be in that thing. Because if there's too much powder, I'll give me the whole shebang.
I'm worried about this for Bryce. Go for it. Can we get JP back here to at least check the powder levels and make sure that Bryce is getting the right intake? I don't need any more. I don't need Creighton up in the Omaha Civic Center or whatever where they play and like having, we need to get him fully hydrated for that situation.
Absolutely.
About this.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure that, I vividly remember the hydration charts in the bathrooms at the Hendricks. I'm sure they're still there.
Be a good teammate.
Telling you what championship level hydration looked like.
That better be clear as say. If that's yellow, you're a bad teammate. We all know that. All right. Some final thoughts here after this is all over. Saturday, Nebraska takes on Bethune-Cookman, which is not normally that easy of a team name to say, but it's a walk in the park compared to what we just had against UTR, Pound, Umlaut, Enye, Q. But Bethune-Cookman on Saturday. I want to give Gamma. Kaleb, final thoughts for the night. Overall, your impression. I know it's just a single game, but any final, what stood out most to you tonight?
You got a 20-point win. You've got to figure out the 3-point defense. You have 2 more games to figure that out before you get to the neutral site game with St. Mary's and then obviously Creighton. You have to figure this out before you get to the Blue Jays or it will be a bloodbath in Omaha.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah. That's true. That's what they do. You just gave me a very bad feeling. Bigelow, your final thought for the night.
I'm right there with you, Kaleb. I already set the unofficial over-under for threes attempted on Wednesday night between UTRGV and Creighton at 75.5. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of threes flying in Omaha on Wednesday night.
Oh, that's right. They play.
Yep. UTRGV is Creighton's opener as well.
Kaleb thinks this is a Sweet 16 team, so I assume, Kaleb, do you want to go ahead and call it now, Kaleb?
Oh, my God. That is not what I said. That is not what I said.
You said they're at least I don't know if you said Elite 8 or Sweet 16. I can't remember, but you said they're obviously a team to watch for the tournament. UT or whatever.
I love watching my post-game show.
I said UT alphabet to the Final Four. Put your money in now.
Okay. Creighton's going to beat them by like 70. That's what's going to happen, and then we're going to hear about that. And then they're going to play the transitive game. And
narratives.
Narratives. Whatever. Listen. You guys want to waste all your energy in game 1? Go for it. It's a long season for our team.
Yeah.
It's a long. We're playing for titles. You guys are playing for November crowns. What am I even talking trash against this hypothetical situation I've thought of? Okay, there you go, guys. This was a blast. This was a blast. Thank you so much for doing this. There's a game Saturday night. Kaleb and Jacob and I need to talk. We're going to see if we're going to do that. I know there's college football going on that night too. I don't know if we're going to do that for sure. But if not, we will be back here for FDU on November 13th. Goodness sakes, that's 9 days away. So we'll see about that. But that's the plan. For those of you who are watching either on Husker Max or on the I-80 Club's YouTube page right now, please just give a like and subscribe. In fact, go to the other one, do that too. Because when we go online, it's going to kind of be unofficial. Mm-hmm. It's going to change from time to time. So you can get a notification usually about 15. What was it tonight, guys? About 15, 20 minutes after the game ended, I think. So, about that time. And then Kaleb and I will go on. We just did a few minutes and then Jacob joined us. So that worked out great. So make sure and give a like and subscribe. That actually helps all of us out as well. Jacob, real quick, tell us about your podcast as well and what people can hear there.
Yeah, people can go check out The Stretch Big with me, Jacob Bigelow. Get it upon big, whatever. We don't have to laugh about it. It's an okay title. But we're gonna, try to turn it up to 11 with basketball season being here. Had a fun run of guests in the off season, former head coaches, sitting head coaches, even an associate conference commissioner. If you need your Nebraska basketball fix, aside from After Nebrasketball and the brunch show, obviously, you can tune into The Stretch Big for your basketball fix, and you can, I write, I talk, I'm doing everything. I'm kind of just I'm like the Johnny Cash song. I'm going to be everywhere this basketball season. So if you're tired of me, I'm sorry, because I'm going to be everywhere.
Love it. Love it. We are, the three of us are trying to double the total Nebraska basketball content because we think we need it in this world. Kaleb, anything that we need to know too with Husker Max here before we wrap? Hopefully you can hear me. Kaleb, are you there, Kaleb? Maybe not. Maybe Kaleb lost us. Go to huskermax.com and you can read the.
I'm sorry, everything cut out.
Okay, Kaleb, yes. I just wanted to ask you real quick. We're wrapping. Anything people? Last thing, I just want to give you a chance to tell people about Husker Max and what basketball fans specifically might want to know about Husker Max. All right, we're dying.
Yeah, just go to huskermax.com. You can find the link to all of our stuff. Obviously, the things that we're doing with the I-80 Club, all the stuff that the I-80 Club does and shares, that goes there. And then the Stretch Big links get shared to, we have all that at Husker Max as well.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And if you want to be a part of the chat that we interact with during the post-game shows, which we'll do more of, go to patreon.com, I-80 Club. You can be a patron. You can join our Discord community. It's a whole lot of fun. So many things to do. For Bigelow, for Kaleb, I am Jack. Bigelow, thanks for doing it. We'll see you next time, all right?
Yep. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate you.
All right. See you later, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye. End.